seats and the capacity here to 40,000 in a couple of years.
Just saw young Alex Johnson did a big job on Tom Hawkins, giving away plenty of size and weight there.
Cameron won the toss, kicking to the left of the screen in the opening term. We're underway. And Wachinski, the clearance. Hawkins on the move, got it, good start.
And you just saw him use his strength to hold front position there against the lighter Johnson.
Floats it up a bit, top of the square, just over the head of West. Stokes, caught, West, tap down, Shaw, but in good form, loses that. Kelly, kick smothered by Hanbury, back in, hands it to Matner. Hanbury, backtracks O'Keefe. Hanbury all the way back to Teddy Richards, coming off the game of his life last week against Rewalt. Outer side, Spanger, tough battle, Enright, Jimmy Bartell. Menzel gets his first touch, and it's a little too wide, and we'll get a ball in. So a late inclusion for the Swans. Ty Kennelly wasn't listed to play. Nick Malcheski out. That's a late exclusion for Sydney. Geelong essentially as named.
Harry Taylor and Adam Goods, that'll be a great matchup.
Great matchup, that one.
Good 15, 16 players around this ball. No one can get it out, and we'll get another ball up. The umpires today. Matthew Nichols about to bounce this. Jason Armstrong and Michael Vozzo. You can hear a pin drop. Ottens in the tie-up with Mumford. Chapman, Bartell, sidestep, wobbler, little tap on Stokes. Stevie J had it knocked away. Shaw, outside of the boot. Hacks it towards the wing. Reed can't get there, neither can Lonergan. And another ball in.
It's only been just over a minute or so, but the ball's only been at one end of the ground, and that's a little bit of a concern, even though there's no score on the
bad signs. Mumford again wins it down. Jude Bolton just getting a kick away. Down on the full, it'll be Geelong's ball, so it won't be over halfway for long. Jimmy Bartell, who, as we heard in the intro, and we said a few weeks ago, he's agreed to a new deal to stay here, but hasn't actually signed on the dotted line yet. But a new 3-year deal, which is great news. Hunt puts it up long. And West, Hawkins stayed down and caught him in. Gee, that was great teamwork. Two big men playing essentially inside 50, and they looked at each other in the eye and thought, OK, we'll work this out between us.
Yeah, and they've got all their big blokes out on the ground to start with. Otten's in the ruck, West is playing forward, Hawkins is playing forward, Podsiadly playing forward. So they're going to be a little bit undersized, the City defence, and on that occasion, Ted Richards, he just couldn't get up to the rarefied air that Trent West took the ball in.
It'll be interesting to see how the conditions play a part in that, Jason. Go through all the tools, but it is a really tricky breeze out here.
5th game of the year for Trent West, back into the team this week. It's his chance to prove that he's in their best 22, and that's a good way of proving it.
Well, you're right, and that's the luxury of Geelong with the ladder position they do have, the fact that they can put all the bigs out there just to see if it will work today or not. But the disappointing thing for the Sydney in that passage of play was Josh Hunt was basically able to walk into that hole on centre wing there. His direct opponent certainly zoned off into a hole. Need to man up, put more pressure through the middle of the ground so they can't get that long ball in deep to these tall forwards.
Ted Richards, who, as we mentioned, did a fantastic job on Nick Rewalt last week.
Already they've shuffled their defence, Sydney. It looks like Grundy's gone on to Hawkins, and now Johnson goes on to Podsiadly as he comes up in the true centre-half forward position.
Jude Bolton tried to get a kick away, was slung, dropped it, no free, that's too high, and it'll be Kelly's ball. So things going to plan for the Cats early. Ottens sprints away from Mumford, can put it to the square if he wants to, and he wants to. Podsiadly down there, thumped away. Shaw just overran it. Varco hasn't kicked a goal for a couple of weeks, doesn't kick one here. Richards squeezes that wide. Hunt got there, takes it out.
Well, it was good play by Brad Ottens. Mumford caught up in the tackle, seen that the Cats were going to get a free kick and spread extremely well on the 45 from the contest.
Double change. Joel Selwood coming on for the Cats. McGlynn wrapped up, slung by West. Hanbury got it out. Bartell. Menzel, centering kick. Past Johnson. Smith gets there first. Johnson, of the Sydney variety. On the handball through legs, then Goods. Caught, dispossessed. Selwood just on. Surely got one for too high. There's a lot of talk about how many free kicks he draws. For some reason, people want to smack him around the ear. I mean, he was tackleable at the waist then.
Yep. And Adam Goods had pushed well upfield trying to get involved in the play because he was getting starved of possession, just couldn't handle it cleanly. And then the right arm catching Selwood over the shoulder.
In the hot ticket, Adam Goods may have given away one here. As mentioned, just off the bench and sprays it. There's Joel Selwood.
What Pickers was telling us before the game, Jace, that it's left post down that end.
Yep.
That they need to aim for to have any chance of it going through.
Shaw. Richards bumped on the kick and sits. Ling has to go for it. Mark dropped by Jack. Plays a tackle. Comes out to Bartel. Another possession. Just pops it inside 50. Hanbury got there first. Read it well. Matner. No one to go to really. Just puts it out to the wing in hope. Enright gets there first. The gather. And past Spanger. Mackie also back into the team this week. Chapman. Selwood. Pumps it long. Alton's resting forward now. Podgiadli. Hand on it. And he spent that before it earned it. He knew what he wanted to do. Give it to Steve Johnson. Richards gets them out of a bind. Rowan just on. Uses his body and feeds back onto it. Local boy from Cobden takes off and runs.
He can go all the way.
He knows where they are here. He played all his junior footy here for the Falcons. Kicks toward goal, and that is splendid. This kid is good.
That's a sensational passage of play, and the best thing was he knew as soon as he struck the ball it was going through. He was off and celebrating. He just backed his pace. He takes it on the defensive side of the wing. Chapman can't go with him. He stumbled. Mackie couldn't pick him up. No one was chasing. In the end, Scarlett had to come and at least make him think about kicking the ball earlier than having another bounce, but a beautiful kick on the run. That's a sensational position, and you deserve a celebration like that.
Well, he was fantastic last week. Came on as a sub and was a spark as well in that last quarter, creating some fantastic run for the Sydney Swans. And he could have kept going there, Jace, but decided to have a shot from 50 and great finish.
Tell you what, they'll make sure they won't give him that space in front of himself next time he goes, because he is real quick.
Flick down, Bartel through traffic. O'Keefe extracts it. Spanger caught behind. Reid tried to knock it up. Taylor threw that out. Lonergan, Mackie, Selwood, and suddenly the Cats are under some pressure. Enright, half back. Squeeze that. Burns knocked away from him. Get a ball in.
Got a feeling, Jace, Jesse White is playing purely a defensive role on Matty Scarlett. A few times he's had the opportunity to leave and put some pressure on, but will not leave Matty Scarlett's side.
McGlynn floats that to the top of the square. Reid got a hand on it. Jesse White breaks free, strong arms. Handball up, Rowan, he could sidestep and kick another. He rolls it toward full forward. Spanger had an arm around his neck, no free. Ling pumps it away. Steve Johnson stolen from him by Joel Selwood. Caught, but didn't dispose of it legally. No, free kick pushing it back. Okay.
Sure why they didn't tackle him then.
No, just executed it poorly, Pickers. I agree. Had him cold and let him off the hook.
Kelly somehow found some space. Stokes, a little man inside 50, manhandled off it by the late inclusion Ty Kennelly. Grundy, tapped away by Varco. Gathers just inside the line. Dances his way around Shaw. Tries to spear a pass. Richards to his own advantage. Grabbed by Podgiadli, free.
Well, his job last week on Nick Riewoldt was sensational. He's got another big job today.
I mean, that's just clumsy, isn't it, really? You look at that. I mean, two blokes could have actually tackled him then.
Jack to Goods. Kennedy. He started against Geelong in round 4, 29 possessions, and that's 50. He's going to have a shot from the top of the square. In fact, this 50 may take him inside the goal square, which means he'll be on no angle. See where the umpire backtracks here. Oh, yep, just outside the square.
Doesn't make much difference.
No, it won't make any difference at all. But this is for the lead. Cats have owned the ball for the first 5.5 minutes, but 10 minutes in, Swans are in front.
Well, a better start by the Swans. Their conversion is certainly up at this stage of the game, 2 straight. We'll see if it is actually 50 metres here. Ling got him by the arm, push off. Yes, put the ball out of his hands there. So great call by the field umpire and made it just an easy conversion for Sydney on that occasion.
Just silly, Cameron Ling, wasn't it?
Yeah, didn't need to do it.
Kennedy really would have been no chance from where he was. Coming in, he kicked 9 goals, 18 for the year. Josh Kennedy, he was having a horrendous run. So from the top of the square, you're a lot better off. And it's game on. Ottens, Joel Selwood tries to pull a free for too high, doesn't get this one. McGlynn, Joel Selwood again. Can't shuffle the handball out. McGlynn does. De Good's got his arms free. Knocks it down, McGlynn. Third touch in this string, gets it for too high. They're about to go into attack again. Reed leads, that's ignored. Cats flooding players back now. Shortish pass. Jude Bolton no free. Josh Kennedy again. Back to McGlynn. 4th possession in this attack forward, and he's done for ball. Selwood. Scarlett. Turner, almost turnover. Stokes short. West. Stokes. And now the turnover. Kennelly. Richards. Again, Reed manhandled, but still gets there to take a great mark. Maybe too far out to score, realises it. Spanger. He's the go-to man. Knocks it away from Hart. Cats with the numbers. Kelly. Taylor. Mackey. West.
Trouble here.
3 men on the outer side. Scarlett's got Lucinski, and he loves to get and go. Has a bounce. Sizes up the big sticks from 40. Cats are back in front.
It was a switch of direction from Mackey back into the middle of the ground that opened up the options for the Cats. It's that kick to Steve Johnson, to Trent West, I should say. But all of a sudden the options opened up. Scarlett linked up with Wyszynski. They had the runner, they had the extra overlap, and no one was going to catch Wyszynski once he set sail for goal, and a good finish on the run.
It's been the biggest improvement in his game this year, without doubt, is his finishing skills. Especially his last month, he's had a few opportunities like that to run into goal and kick from 35-40 and hasn't missed.
Another good bounce. Jesse White in the ruck now. Hanbury spins out of some trouble. Sure, no prior opportunity there. So it'll be a ball up.
It's a different role for Benny McGlynn today, running with Joel Selwood. It's a massive ask, isn't it? Normally plays that half forward that'll come up the ground and at stages run as the 5th midfielder, but he looks like he's got the full-time job on Joel Selwood.
Good, took it out of the air. White, no prior opportunity. Should be a ball up again.
This is where Geelong will be looking to take some sort of advantage with Ottens up against Jesse White in the ruck contest.
Third man up, Podsiadly. McGlynn. Caught, throws it out. White. Jack ducked out of a tackle, and he has Shaw running for him. This looks good for the Swans. They've got some one-on-ones. Which one-on-one does he want? Parker back into the team this week. Trucks Wyszynski. Pumps it long, goes to the square instead to Reed. Knocked down. Enright got there first. And Barker, he can gather and go. Fantastic handball to space.
Loose players running forward. All they've got to do is be clean with their use of the footy.
Kelly, Ottens, Varco, Stokes. That's as clean as it gets.
Yep. Well, he was loose running through the back of the square towards centre half forward. Then he just cut across to the flank when he saw which side the ball was coming down, and an uncontested possession. It's so quick the turnover from deep in attack. All of a sudden, they're conceding a shot for goal at the other end in a matter of seconds.
Well, they missed the option of Goods at centre half forward there, which the ball should have been squared up.
Breeze right at his back here, Matthew Stokes. 70% at goal. It's kicked 25 goals. Was going to be 11, but it's 12 now for the year.
That's where the Swans need to hit that one of Adam Goods that Picker's picked up. Yep. You've got to lower their eyes because Geelong love to get back on that high ball, outnumber the opposition, and you can see the result, how quickly they can get it down the other end and have a scoring opportunity.
Sure. Pumps it to the outer side. Spanger needs to go. Doesn't get there to make a contest, and ball rolls out of play and will get a ball in. Not a bad way of bringing it in from behind, get it all the way to the wing without anybody else bothering to touch it.
Just on that point, I mean, Jono made, one of the most important score sources in the game is turnovers. And against a really good team, the top liners like Geelong, they make you pay every time.
Two ruckmen dance together, Kennedy and Ling. Ling picks it up, gives to Ottens. And just got, no, it wasn't a handball, it was a throw. Free kick, Mumford. Wants to play on quickly. Parker's outside. Uses some toe. Keeps it low. White. Good grab. He was errant at goal early last week, but he got it to work late. Jesse White. Line up for his first shot in game 50. He's a bit of a Trojan horse. He's a man mountain up there. Draws a lot of attention without being the one that actually kills you. Bends that back a bit. Not enough. 16 minutes gone. Opening term. 14-13, and the crowd a little pensive at the moment. Johnson heads wide. Menzel took the steps, I had to go. Jude Bolton cuts it off, hands it back to Spanger, can have the shot from the paint. Not bad off the boot, just drifting a little. Hunt got there, took the mark. Still the Cats by a point. Chapman. Johnson. Getting back inside defensive 50 a bit in this opening term. Sits that a little. Enright good enough to make it his. And here they come into the corridor to play on quickly.
They love it when they can get it through the middle.
Burns back to Johnson, calling for Leeds to come at him. Knocked over on the kick, and it was on the kick. No free kick downfield. Stokes, chance to gather and go on his own. Varco feeding into the pocket. The ball eludes him initially. He tries to do something spectacular. Didn't quite work. We'll get a ball in.
You mentioned Jesse White just catching Steve Johnson as he kicked the ball. I'm not sure if Johnson saw him. He was so busy looking for options up forward, he nearly just ran straight into him as he kicked.
Stokes met heavily in Highway's own man. But the umpire said it was Johnson, and he'll have the shot at goal. I mentioned earlier, normally a sharpshooter.
Missed one moments ago. He'll certainly be keen to make amends now.
And not just 70% this year, he's 70% for his whole career, which is hard to maintain that kind of scoring rate.
Well, that's unlucky because the initial bump was okay, and then he turned and actually went down with his head into Johnson, who was just there.
There's that left to right that he predicted on the kick, but came so late and he kept it so low. Mattner this time. Playing the outer side, the breeze is blowing to that side. Reed crashed the pack, took it down. Spanger shoots a handball up. Jude Bolton, a bounce kindly for him, and he's away. Goods at half forward, it's back. Taylor knocks it down though. Scarlett, they combine so well.
Oh, look at Podgiadli on his own if they can switch it.
West takes them on with some run. Chapman, Menzel, Ling, just in time. A bouncer inside 50. Johnson tries to flick on. Kelly almost fed onto it. Alex Johnson handed it up. Smith, did he have prior? Was he tackled properly? He was caught and bumped and dumped and simply dropped the ball. Umpire Vozzo would ball it up.
Well, we mentioned before the game, Jace, about the time in forward half, and has spent a lot in Geelong's in the first quarter so far. You look at inside 50s, 12-8, but it's their contested possession. That's why, and it's that competitive nature that they've all got, is why the ball continues to stay locked in their forward end.
Yeah, not sure there was any prior opportunity there for Nick Smith.
Selwood dropped the mark. Gang tackled now by McGlynn and Jude Bolton. He has had a pretty good season again, Ben McGlynn, every game this year, and as good as his first season with Sydney was last year. Actually on track for better numbers, just 14 games and 23 goals last year. He's played every game and 27 goals this year. Been a good contributor. Here he is on cue, lays a tackle on Chapman again with Some assistance from Jude Bolton, ball up.
What would be pleasing for John Longmire and the coaching staff in Sydney is they've got nearly 20 minutes in the first quarter. We know the Cats are normally a very good first quarter team, but I think the Cats are kicking with probably a goal or two breeze, so they've held pretty well here, the Swans.
West bumps Mumford, they both go to ground. Smith gathers the ball, O'Keefe, Alex Johnson, Spanger, contest, Mackie right with him. Boundary line looming and content to take it across. Mackie gets his chance at a rest. He's had a rest for a couple of weeks, as I said, back into the team. Had the bye and a week off before that. Selwood to the open side, Enright, he can go. Lead from Podsiadly, that's ignored. He goes longer. Hawkins got it. Too strong for Grundy.
Yeah, well, we spoke about that strength when Alex Johnson lined up on it initially. He won the first contest there, then Grundy went on to him, and it was just a good kick to advantage. All he had to do was hold Grundy off while the ball was coming to the open side, and we know he's a big brute of a man. He certainly did that. A really good kick to his advantage.
So all the big boys playing for the Cats this week. Tom Hawkins back into the lineup. Nathan Vardy out for the season, so Hawkins the front runner to keep his spot. That bends with that breeze, but not enough.
They're wasting some opportunities. It was Sydney who were dreadful in front of goal last week. This time it's Geelong not making the most of their control of the first quarter.
So ticked into time on, 21 minutes gone opening term. Shaw gets it back again. Could have given back to Richards, ignores that. Parker edged under it, and right, clever. Experience. Tried to keep it low, and that was poor. Straight into Parker. Enright, one of those players who hitting 30. In fact, on grand final day, the Cats could have 7 30-year-olds playing for them if they get there this year, which would be an amazing number of 30-year-olds. To have 7 in the lineup would have to be a record. Selwood. West knocked away from him. Podsiadly, one of those 30-year-olds, hands it up. Menzel attacks it, misses Podsiadly. Altons, another 30-year-old, he can't pick it up. Ling, another one of their 30-pluses, jumps in, and he did tell us pre-game that he intends to play next year. Cameron Ling, keep the captaincy. Thinks his body's going okay, has another year in it, which is good news for the locals. Cats by 3 points. Altons the flick down. Kelly lays a tackle, O'Keefe no prior.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ben Joel, straight to the ball.
Straight out. All right, what's behind me?
I don't reckon I've ever seen quite a crowd at the moment.
No, they're not quite sure what to make of it, Piggers, probably because they've missed those early opportunities and they're not dominating the way they're used to.
Having 10 goals on the board by now.
Jack to Kennelly. Just the required 15 to Hanbury. Out wide, Ty Kennelly playing for his footy life. Back into the team, and there's speculation as to whether he's going to go on next year. Stokes, a wobbler. Johnson can see this out, and we'll get a ball in. We'll talk about the crowd, kind of not expecting this. The last 2 games that Geelong have won here have been by 186 points and by 150 points.
No wonder they're shell-shocked.
That's right.
Well, they've had 15 to 8 inside 50s, and it's 2 goals apiece.
Yeah, they've been parties. The last 2 wins here over Melbourne and the Gold Coast. Kennedy couldn't break free. Jack, gang tackled, not going anywhere. So the crowd could be in for a close one for a change.
I don't profess to be any sort of expert on body language, but just watching the Cats in their warm-up today, just looked a little bit off their game to me, a little bit flat.
Well, that's the second week in a row because Jared Healy picked up exactly the same thing in Adelaide 2 weeks ago.
Well, we know what happened in that game.
Shaw long. Knocked down by Hunt. Rowan gets a chance. Jude Bolton couldn't grab it. Hunt grabs it back again. Turnover. Bartell, O'Keefe, Jude Bolton, Gary Rowan again. He can size them up from 50. Takes on the tacklers. Was dagged. O'Keefe, he had no prior opportunity, so that can't be ball. The crowd want ball, but just because your teammate had prior opportunity doesn't mean that you get pinged if you get it handed straight to you.
Well, Gary Rowan had to take them on there, got tackled because he had to kick quickly. It was Scarlett sitting in the goal square by himself. Tried to change his run, which is what you need to do against the Cats.
And the Cats hope you have that quick kick forward. They pounce on that so well. Start their turnovers from defence and just run you all the way home. Now, this is a good start for the Swans, even though they're not in front. 25 minutes gone, and they've established the fact that they're well and truly in this contest. Otten's front spot. Cameron Ling to the wing. Hawkins has misread it slightly. Stokes had some room to move, and now Varco, he can get and go. A couple of Swans around him. Teddy, he can stick the line. Varco keeps it alive. Chapman.
Really good.
Podsiadly, really good.
So the great players don't get rushed when they make their decisions. He just jockeyed for a little bit of time, and he waited for an option to open up and then chipped it almost untouched to Podsiadly, who gets a good shot at the goal now. Just so cool under pressure. Chapman's the sort of player you'd love to have in your side.
Should just start this slightly left. Let it feed left to right as you're watching it at home.
Well, everyone else that starts at left, it stays left.
Yes, true. But he's a little further out.
Yeah.
The ball tends to move late on a long kick. And he didn't start that left. And it's all right, if you know what I mean. It's not all right. It's a behind.
There might have been a chance of it. It'd have been Buddy Franklin kicking it. He gets him to go that way.
So Shaw, who's been playing on from the kick-ins and then running and kicking long, does likewise again. He's held up to Teddy, the 1-2, the 1-2-3. Grundy. And they come to the side they didn't really want to come to. Spanger. Good lead. Good grab.
It was actually the right side to come to because they had an extra number out there. Spanger was loose. They had 3-on-2. It's now what they can make of it going forward. It's been a little bit slow moving the footy.
Goods attacks this hard. Gets the jump. Reed back into him. Jack tried to extract the little handball. Down to 2 minutes. Huge tackle. And the Swans can sense they're in it right now too. Kelly gets to his feet. 4-point lead to the Cats. Flick down. Jude Bolton. O'Keefe. Goods. And he may have got in right a little high there. Bartel as the play on call comes. Selwood. Not paid the mark. Kick smothered. Finally gets the kick away, but it's to Alex Johnson. Doesn't want to come inboard. But the number's wide. Meredith also back into the lineup this week, and he can put the Swans in front at quarter time. Brett Meredith.
Paul Chapman put the hands up and said, what was that for? He must have cribbed over and not come back when asked to by the umpire.
Just his third game of the year, Brett Meredith. We've talked about Jared McVeigh not playing today. They've got a couple that have been unable to front up. Nick Malcheski another. This gives Brett Meredith a huge opportunity for the lead. And he hits that sweet. Straight through the middle. Swans by 2 points.
I think the disappointing thing from a Geelong perspective is 2 of the 3 Sydney goals have come from 50-metre penalties. That's just a lack of discipline. Let's have a look at Paul Chapman. He just jogs up. Well, he wasn't there in the initial marking contest. So as soon as you step over where the umpire perceives the mark to be, it's going to be an instant 50, and that's what he's copped. Technical. You didn't like it, Jono?
Pretty tough, very tough on that one.
It's been a year since the Cats have trailed here at quarter time. We've talked a bit about the fact that it's been 4 years since they've lost here. 29 wins in a row at Stewart Stadium. With 1 minute 24 left on the clock. Swans are looking good. McGlynn takes off. Top of the square again. Reed gets the jump. Not quite the second grab. Tries to knock it to his own advantage. Jesse White, boundary line there, takes it across.
They'd be pleased with the start, Sydney. John Long might be thrilled with that. There's a great lead from Trent West. Just missed the tap down to Selwood, and his opponent, Ben McGlynn, gets the inside 50.
Mumford knocks it down. Johnson and Menzel both there. Rowan ridden a little. Ball up. In front of the Swans faithful. That's their corner, their pocket. For the travelling fans. Pocket of red and white. Knocked down. Jude Bolton. Gets it out. Mumford tries to extract a handball. Bartel bump. Couldn't get rid of it properly. Again a gang tackle. Seconds continue to roll. Bartel, he rolls it. Outside 50. And we'll get a ball in with 42 seconds left on the clock.
It has been a somewhat lethargic first quarter from Geelong. You get the feeling they're waiting for it to happen. They expect it to happen, but no one is actually getting out there and making it happen.
Well, Sydney win, they're in. The finals, they lose, different story altogether. They could miss out. Big game for them. Hack back inside 50, off hands, free kick. It'll be Harry Taylor's ball. Good says give it back. Last week's indiscretion is stuck in his memory. Harry Taylor makes it tough for Andrew Mackie. And it's not the Cats of old at the moment. Podsiadly the target. Richards knocks it down. No free to Podsiadly. Crowd wanted one. Mumford to McGlynn. Low trajectory kick cut off by Lonergan. Back to Harry Taylor. 10 seconds and counting. Time enough for a turnover, but not a Cats score. Parker jumps. Knocked down. Enright cuts it off. Just gets away with it down to 2 seconds. And it's quarter time at Skilled Stadium. And the locals don't quite understand it. Their boys are not in front for the first time in a year. Sydney 3-1-19. Geelong 2-5-17. Out of wins and losses is Collingwood, but they can't win the minor premiership. Collingwood's percentage is just too big, even if Geelong beats Collingwood next week. Poor bounce to start this second term. But Geelong can slip to third and Hawthorn up to second, but the difference is nothing at all because there is no difference between second and third. They'll meet in the first week of the finals at the G. Johnson takes off, hands it up to Chapman, spins it around the body. Not bad off the boot, but it doesn't bend enough. It's marked on the line or a behind. It's behind according to Chelsea Roffey, who knows her stuff.
Good call by the boundary umpire. Then Chelsea was blinded by a couple of bodies.
And that's a mark, I think. I don't think the whole ball was over the line then.
Yeah. Okay, so the boundary umpire got it wrong.
Wasn't a good call by the boundary umpire.
Sure.
It was a confident call by the boundary umpire.
It was.
Lonergan the reach. Nick Smith the crumb. White, good hands. Might be a good battle that between he and Matty Scarlett. He's got some reach on him. To Spanger at half forward. Harry Taylor, palm on it. Bartel pulled out. No free.
It really wasn't a good kick from Jesse White. You've got Spanger leading towards the boundary. You've got to kick it boundary side of him and his opponent at the time, which was Harry Taylor. And unfortunately had to stop and prop. Never a chance of marking it.
Mumford the flick down to Goods. Hasn't really had an impact yet. That's a good spot. White lurking, almost. Tried to mark it on his chest and kicks the goal regardless.
Well, that's why Sydney are in this game at the moment. Their clearance work again has been very, very good. They're leading that area 14-10. And this one just a clear clearance to Sydney through Adam Goods. Great tap by Mumford. And Jesse White just competed, got front position, worked extremely hard for front position on his direct opponent in Matty Scarlett. Was able then to get a great second effort and kick another goal for Sydney.
'50th game for Jesse White today. Up against one of the all-time great fullbacks. 7-point lead to Sydney, their biggest lead of the game. The crowd a little restless. Otten knocks it down. Goods to his own advantage, place for a free. Shaw, Slick to Jack to Hanbury. All eludes Spanger. Enright, tiny fumble. Floats one wide. Goods read it well.
This is important that Adam Goods is getting into the game. It was pretty quiet the first quarter. This will be his third touch for this quarter.
Reed the target. Lonergan with him. Had the reach. Knocked it out of play. Lonergan, one of those players, hasn't played on a flag for the Cats, Tom Lonergan. Matty Scarlett's played in a couple. There's a few Geelong players out there that want to make this their year because they haven't been involved in previous seasons. Mumford knocks it down. Kennedy tied up by Ling. Holding the ball. Didn't try hard enough, according to the umpire. So the Mayor sticks to the outer side. Adley up. And Johnson could claim that mark. He got the fist on it. Adley says that he touched it. Been a good player this year, Alex Johnson. And he gives it some air. Reid, also a good player this year. Can't mark it. McGlynn couldn't break through the traffic. Parker tries to get a handball out. Desperate times at the moment. Parker still trying to bury his way through. Hunt under siege. Meredith collects it, but they collect him. Dump to the turf. And the umpire will sort it out.
Love to get their big forwards into the game, Geelong, but Adley and Hawkins, 2 possessions each and 2 behinds between them.
Ogden's the knockdown. Ling. Call that a kick if you like. Menzel. A longer one to the wing. It's wide. And Hawkins fumbles that across the line. Ball in. 4-1 plays 2-6. A while since the Cats have been down by 7 points. Early stages of the second term here. Kelly caught by Goods. He seemed to drop that. Smith caught a little high. Got the kick away. Goods gets it to Jude Bolton. To Jack. Sidesteps a couple. Tries a clever kick inside 50. McGlynn off some hands. Hands it up. White to Reid. Has the snap. They lead by 13.
Well, you're not going to hear a lot of atmosphere here at Skilled Stadium because the big crowd here is shell-shocked. They are so used to listening and watching and being a part of massacres here where Geelong just thumped the opposition. They don't know what to make of this. A very stagnant performance from Geelong to start this match. And Sydney are just making the opportunities happen when they go forward. They're creating shots at goal and, importantly, they're finishing.
John Longmire, 2 coaches in their first year head-to-head. John Longmire, Chris Scott, 2 coaches taking over from premiership coaches. So tough jobs for both of them. Right now they look both finals bound. Chapman to half forward. Joel Selwood really the only one who wanted that. Round 150. Don't get it. Over the head of Mackey. Keeps it in just. And he spins beautifully on Hanbury. Kick not so good. O'Keefe. Finally the crowd finds some voice. In front of the members. Beautiful new members stand here at Skilled Stadium. To the wing. West with the leap. Got a knuckle on it. Parker back of the pack. Kelly. Rowan tracked him down. Caught him. Handball up. Rolls out of play. He's done well since coming on. Gary Rowan. Crucial goal. Having an impact.
Mumford nearly went the wrong side of the interchange then.
Kelly rolls a kick through Wachinski. McLean. And that'll do. That'll bounce out of play. It won't be deliberate. It'll be a ball in. The Swans can reset from the ball in, and they have been one of the best clearance teams in the comp this year.
And they look like they're winning the territorial battle in the second term now.
White does the ruck work against West. And
Over
gets
the
one for
shoulder.
too high.
Yep. Well, this is a great opportunity to open up a bit of breathing space. 5-1, so the complete opposite of last week when they were wasteful in front of goals. Couldn't find someone to kick it between the big white sticks. So now they get an opportunity to kick their 6th goal from just 7 scoring shots.
The Man Mountain.
See those flags, boys? I think they're going to the right, so he's going to go inside here if they need to.
Inside left post, all right. He does, and it feeds back, and he hits that post that he aimed for.
Well, he started it too far, didn't he? He gave away all of the goals. And really drove the ball hard.
Yeah, it's all about the weight of your kick as well, depending on where you aim. Hunt, short. Chapman. Under siege right now, the Cats. Straight down the middle. Reid sits under it. Hands to it, but knocked down by Stokes to Varco. Through the legs of Adley.
Nutmeg.
Mucks up for it. Bartel wants to come back into the corridor. Varco, the half volley. Umpire says no, play on. Gets it off to Steve Johnson, who hasn't had an impact there.
Dropped it. Oh.
And that should have been ball.
Yeah, he was looking to create something, Steve Johnson. In the end, dropped it cold. A really good tackle. Josh Kennedy should have been rewarded. Have a look at this. He thought about it, and then he doesn't dispose of it properly.
The umpire was on the wrong side, boys.
There are 3 of them out there. Mumford, tie up. Oh, there's your evener upper. Mumford gets the free. Ty Kennelly pokes it wide. Meredith's got a couple to beat here for the Swans, and Hunt gets there first. Chapman, Scarlett, Selwood, Hunt waited for the bounce but read it beautifully. This is the kick that's important to Ottens. Manhandled, gets it free, and it'll line up from 25 out.
Well, that's the pressure of playing on an imposing player the size of Brad Ottens does. Heath Grundy was just, he felt like he was getting monstered. He had to grab him with both arms and push him out of the way. Seen those let go as well at different stages, but you play in front, you get the benefit of the doubt.
Swans have kicked the last 3 goals of the game. Huge kick this, directly out.
Shank.
Horrendous.
That is typical of Geelong's day thus far.
Exactly what I was just thinking. If he misses this, he's one of the best set shot kicks in the game. They are genuinely 100% off.
Yeah, kicked 13 goals, 6 coming into this week, so he is one of the best set shots and kicks at goal the Cats have got. Mumford crashes the pack. He's starting to grow on his own old home turf. Shane Mumford. Ling. Menzel. Podsiadly and Ottens. Richards got a fist on it, as he so often does. Varco keeps it alive. Stokes tucked into the pocket. Handballs it in. Knocked down. Ottens tries to thread a handball through. Varco spins out of a jam. Kicks to full forward. Off hands. Still a chance. Hawkins has tried to pick that up on the go. Gang tackled by 3 Swans. Ball didn't try hard enough and shows his displeasure.
Normally when you stand up, you're okay.
The crowd getting even more restless now. Adam Goods, half tackled, takes them on, keeps it in. Selwood, Taylor, crowd starting to roar. Turnover, they won't like that. Mumford takes the mark in front of West. Sydney by 13. Jack to Spanger. Too far out to score. Hanbury runs inside 50. Gary Rowan runs to the square. It's his ball. He sits under it. Bartell's there. And well read, Bartell. A great overhead mark for his size. Handed back to him. Menzel's hurt behind play. Lonergan. Cats don't want to take some time here. They want to play on quickly. Lonergan, Bartell, Goods. He shrugs Goods. Rolls a kick. Poor kick. Parker spins onto it. Kicks a goal. Can't land the blow.
Well, I think that right there is indicative of the sort of day Geelong's having. They just kept handballing to blokes in trouble. Didn't end up clearing the footy. Jimmy Bartell eventually has to just hurriedly kick it along the ground openly in their defensive 50 and creates a shot at goal for Sydney. Vickers is right, they're not on. They're not on at all. It's going to be interesting to see whether they can get themselves out of this funk.
Mackie couldn't even kick the ball to himself then. Huge leap. Johnson, in fact, it was West over the top. Couldn't bring it down. Chapman does to Burns, to half forward. Hawkins.
That's got to be a free kick, that one.
Bumped off it. Umpire says it was a free against Grundy. So the Tomahawk descended along. Steve Johnson on the march. Stokes also inside 50. Stokes takes the mark in front of Johnson. And the sharpshooter can line up.
While that was unfolding, Heath Grundy was having a chat to the umpire. He's given away 2 free kicks the last 2 contests against big-bodied players in Ottens and Hawkins. Just asking for clarification from the umpire.
And Stokes was at that contest, and that's his work rate. Once the ball hits the deck and he can see an advantage his way, he takes off. Reece Shaw was caught napping. Ted Richards did try and cover off for him, but Stokes was way too quick.
Should start this a little right as well. Let's kick 2 behinds. He doesn't. He just spears it straight through the middle. Freeze stopped by the grandstand, and it's an 8-point game.
Well, one of the first times that Geelong has been able to get in behind the defence in this quarter of the Sydney Swans. You see Stokes there. He was at the contest when the free kick was paid, was able to work back. And as I said, Teddy Richards was there. He tried to help his teammates out and cover off. Just didn't have the speed to go with Stokes. And it was a very good finish and a much-needed goal by the Cats just to create some excitement in this stadium.
First goal of the second term for Geelong. Played 14 minutes. Ling. Handball, but straight to Matner. Batting it, caught, gone. Barco crept up on him. Play on advantage. Kelly over the top. Stokes lines them up. Centering kick. Bumped on the kick, no free.
Downfield. Downfield.
So was the bump after he kicked it?
Well, that's what the umpire's saying. Be interesting to have a look at that on replay.
Well, the bump almost affected the kick.
Yes, I agree, Dwayne.
So you're talking about a spark there as we have a look at the replay, boys. I reckon...
That's slow motion as well.
The Travis Varco chase is a sort of spark that could get them all going here.
Yeah, they need efforts like that, Pickers, you're right, because they're not just doing it on their pure skill and magic today. They're going to have to pull out a little bit of grunt work to get the job done today.
For 2 goals in 2 minutes for the Cats. Jimmy Bartell kicked 19 goals, 5 this year. Never wastes it. It's a 2-point game.
And once again, Matty Stokes was involved in that passage of play. And you just look here, sees the free kick again, sees that his teammate has laid a fantastic tackle.
Turns him in the tackle. That's what gets the free kick.
Exactly right there, Jason. You see Stokes is then, he's out, he's gone. Very dangerous forward. He's had a great game so far. The 12 disposals got on the scoreboard and now set up one as well.
Bright sunshine. Skilled Stadium crowd getting something to cheer about. Altons reaches over the top. Kennedy. Mumford stole it from him. Caught. Ridden a little in the tackle. Ridden too much. Free kick to the Mummy. To Goods. Into trouble.
It's a poor handball.
Forced to handball it away and gets it back from O'Keefe. Handball to half forward. Cut off by Wachinski. Selwood, another free for too high.
He does draw them, Dwayne.
He does?
It's amazing.
Chapman, a wobbly torpedo. Johnson bumped under it. Steve Johnson gets there first. Cannoned into by O'Keefe. Ottens, Kelly, turnover, Grundy. With the runner on the outer side, Meredith, nice trap. The one hand down. Spanger at half forward, Lonergan right with him. Free kick to Spanger.
See, that's an unnecessary one to give away. Got him pinned hard against the boundary.
This is 3rd game for the year, 3rd game for Sydney, Matt Spanger. Another playing for his footy life. Heads to the top of the square. Rowan! Front spot! It wasn't intended for him. Spectacular grab.
Yeah, he's got some excitement about him, hasn't he, Gary Rowan?
Grew up all his life with the nickname Lingy because of his red hair, living down here in the Western District of Geelong.
He's not standing the mark, but Josh Hunt's actually his opponent. Just allowed him to run and jump at the footy.
Kicked a splendid goal in the opening term, and that just as important. Sydney back out by 8.
Well, they continue to put the Geelong defence under pressure, and that's something that we haven't seen too often this year, Jono. You just see Josh Hunt just lets him run and jump, and he stays down to rove the loose ball. But if your man goes, you've got to go with him.
That's right. You've got to crash that pack along with everyone else involved in the contest. Make sure your direct opponent doesn't get an easy run and jump at the contest. And he's been a little bit of a spark today, is Gary Rowan.
Getting sick of this rule, Dwayne. Kick a goal, have to come off.
Especially when you're as hot as Gary Rowan is.
Don't like
well,
it.
maybe that's why he's off, because he is hot. It is a warm day. And a high rotation kind of day. 8-point lead to the Swans. West, palm down, Chapman had it but lost it. Kennedy lays a tackle and we'll get a secondary ball up inside the centre circle.
It's interesting, we saw Ben McGlynn tag Joel Selwood in the first term. In the second quarter, it's been Adam Goods and Selwood really going head-to-head. That's been an interesting battle.
West, straight down, Chapman, Podsiadly tries to drive his way through. Sydney win, they're in. Playing the finals this year. Don't want to have to wait until next week at the SCG against the Lions. Try and work it all out. Free kick out of the middle. It's a Swans ball. Play on advantage. O'Keefe pumps it inside 50 to the back. Everybody spills. It's rolling towards goal. Jude Bolton thought about off the deck. Hands it back. Spanger smothered. Behind.
Well, there were 6 players that all went to ground. There were 3 pairs contesting, and it was just like knocking the pins over at the bowling alley. They all went down.
There's still a cat down, and he's in the hands of trainers. The stretcher might be coming out. Bad news for Geelong. The good news, Burns just gets the kick away. Shaw, half back. Harry Taylor still in the hands of trainers. Shuffled out to Shaw. Into the shadows, Shaw. Johnson. Against the line, West. Not the spot for a torpedo, and they will have to stop play here. Harry Taylor still being held by 5 trainers out there with him.
I haven't signalled for it yet. See him. It's hard to tell.
Looks like he might just got an accidental elbow when the hat collapsed.
I think it's his neck. They're saying it's his neck, so they will have to stop play here for his own safety. The ball's about to come to where he is. Spanger to Meredith. Hands it up. McGlynn. Bump. Little fumble. Surely the umpires need to quickly call a ball up here and stop play.
The trainers just had a chat.
Yeah, the trainers have got to signal to the umpire. If they want the stretcher, they've got to tell the umpire. Now he's up on his feet, Harry Taylor.
Okay, so Michael Vozzo's just said, no, we'll keep playing.
Well, I think he's shaken. Let's have a look. He gets friendly fire. It's the left arm of Tom Lonergan that comes over and collects him on the head. Shook him up a bit.
It's 18 plays 17 right now. The Swans have the extra man. Harry Taylor slowly walking off with the trainers. And now he gets a jog up, but he doesn't look well. Round of applause for HT. Slightly eccentric, cognac drinking, German speaking war buff that he is. The crowd love him down here. Varco to half forward. Grundy. Ball eludes him. Smith hands it back to Shaw. Dances his way past a couple and Richards can get and go. 40 plays 31. Swans by 9. O'Keefe to Grundy. Swans about to go forward again. Jude Bolton half held. Mumford with the palm down. Mackie trying hard to get rid of it. And the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. Ticked into time on second term. 21.5 minutes gone. Mumford. Knocked down against West. Selwood tried to manufacture a handball. The Swans know they're in this up to their eyeballs. Too high. Free kick Cats. Court's just caught him a little high with Chinsky.
There's a bit going off the ball. McGlynn's gone back onto Selwood now for a run and really working him off the ball. A couple of little arms being swung at each other there.
Hawkins, ball bounces past them. Mather can't get there before Johnson, who hands to Podsiadly. Bump, but gets the kick away, and it's wide. Doesn't score.
Had Stokes in the goal square if he could have hooked it back as well. Needed to do better there on his natural foot.
Doesn't really matter second and third. We mentioned that earlier in the term. Second and third will play each other in the first week of the finals at the MCG, Geelong and Hawthorn. But it does matter the form you go into the finals with. So it might not be as important for Geelong today as it is for the Swans, but at the moment, they're not playing the kind of footy they'd like to carry into the finals.
Well,
they've got Collingwood next week, which won't help their cause of getting some form back.
Won't be easy, and Ty Kennelly would love some form back at the moment too. He was a late inclusion after getting dropped. It just looks a shadow of his former self. Lacks that yard of pace and that confidence that he had when he was up and running.
Podsiadly from 4 deep. Gee, that was a great mark, Mumford. He stood in the hole knowing the traffic was coming. Loopy handball made it impossible for Grundy, so he tries to mop up his own mess here, Mumford. Ties the ball in, keeps it there for a second. Ling runs through a couple, throws it out. Stokes tries to pull a high free from Kennelly. Nothing doing. Kennedy gets it out of the area. Reed got an arm slap it, no free. Jude Bolton attacks it hard, dives in, ties it up. Umpire Vozzo on the spot says gone. Jude Bolton's ball. The crowd restless again. Meredith's out wide. He needs to go. Hunt tracking him down. Free kick for an arm slap. Meredith hands it up. Hanbury short. Tries to bounce it to Rowan. Scarlett got there first. Not a lot to go to by foot. Goes to Kelly by hand. Shrugs Reed. Comes to Varco. Meredith knocks it away. Swans still a chance. Meredith gets it out but hands it over. Menzel to the wing. Hawkins caught behind. Got a punch. Grundy back onto it first. Thought about going through his legs. Hawkins, Shaw, Grundy. Umpire Vozzo to sort it out. 4 minutes 16 on the clock. Mumford again. Ran into his own man, Bartel. Parker through some traffic. Kick smothered. Game's just lifted a cog in the last minute or so. The Cats' intensity lifting.
Little bloke in the way of a big bloke.
Little bloke will argue the big bloke's in his way.
Adam Goods caught a little high. Wanted the free, doesn't get it.
It's interesting to watch both Goods and Selwood at the stoppage. They try to just hit the stoppage with real pace. Goods has done it a couple of times, he's done it well, so they're really on the move, the both of them.
Wobbly ball up. Ottens reaches over the top. McGlynn caught by Kelly. Not a kick. Ottens through some legs. Jude Bolton tries. Mumford does. McGlynn got it out, but straight to Wojcinski, who runs. He's sizing up the big sticks. He hands it off. Steve Johnson from 50. Little fumble. Tackled by Shaw. Dragged down. That's legged. Free kick to Grundy.
Well, Wojcinski tried to take him on and draw an opponent. He had that quick release to Steve Johnson. First option was there straight away, and they would have been able to run right inside 50.
Sydney has not won here for over 12 years. It's been a long time in the waiting. But they're right in this contest. Steve Johnson wide. Burns, bouncing ball. Shaw overcommitted. Burns kept his feet and goals. 3-point game.
Hasn't made too many mistakes of late, Reece Shaw, but he just overcommitted. He took himself out of the contest and he didn't take the man or the ball. The little kick from Johnson wasn't a particularly good one. It should have been taken over the boundary line, either the ball, man, or both, but he lost his balance and didn't make contact with either, unfortunately, Reece Shaw, and that allowed Shannon Burns just to pick it up and stroll in and kick an easy goal.
Daniel Menzel having a chat to the doctor at the moment about how many fingers he can see and exactly where he can see it.
Is that part of the concussion test, Dwayne?
Yeah, have to do some colouring in tests at half-time and put some blocks in some holes. Build a ship. Mumford through some traffic. Kennedy to half forward. Scarlett half held. Wins himself a free. Cats could still take the lead in at half-time here inside 3 minutes to the main break. So Harry Taylor off and maybe for the game. Neither sub's been used yet. Alan Christensen and Craig Bird, the two subs. Mumford maybe tried to be a bit too clever there. Selwood gathered on the go. Caught. McGlynn having some kind of game. Adam Goods floats it over the top. Jude Bolton to make them pay. Right between the eyes. 9-point lead.
Well, you're right about McGlynn, Dwayne. He's had 11 disposals for the game. Been direct opponent with and going head-to-head with Joel Selwood for most of it, who's had 14. Adam Goods has certainly helped him out around the stoppages on Selwood, but it's been his spread and run from the contest. Everything he's doing is with good speed today. Very clean with his use. Good overlap run there by the Swans. Goods involved as well. So the leaders of Sydney are standing up in this game so far.
Has a rest. 2 minutes 18 left. 9-point lead to Sydney. Daniel Hanbury was 8 years old the last time the Swans won here. Gary Rowan was 6. 12 years. Been a long drought. Kelly, kick smothered. McGlynn. O'Keefe, kick smothered. Kelly through some traffic nicely. Kelly of old. West, hand on it, almost the mark. Ted Richards. Quite a couple of weeks he's having. Heads out wide. Meredith's ball bounced unkindly. Out of play, a win for the Swans. Tony Locker kicked 6 goals.
We'll just have a look at Mumford here. That's at the centre bounce, Dwayne, and he's very, very close. Something I don't think the umpires are looking at too much these days, but he's flirting with danger there.
So you're not allowed to touch any part of the line, John? No. Well, then he was on it then.
There you go. Jack hands it up. Shaw from 70 spears it to Reid.
They are opening Geelong up when they go forward. This has been impressive from Sydney.
Got a big spread of goal kickers at the moment. Last time they won here, they kicked 21 goals for the game, and Lockett kicked 6 of them. And right now, they're getting a good spread, great players, and they're making a statement in the shadows of half-time. Reid from the paint. Spins with that breeze. Don't read it well enough.
So he looks a player with an enormous future, though, Sam Reid. He leads well, got a beautiful pair of hands. He's very tall, long arms, good agility. A lot to like about the way he plays the game.
At every game this year, they're fantastic inclusions. Sam Reid. This is a big kick in. Hunt drives it long. Steve Johnson attacks it. Kelly off hands. Seconds continue to roll. Cats break through. Stokes. Chapman is given up to West as the runner. Tries the short slipper to Podsiadly. Didn't quite work initially. Handball up to Christensen, so they've used their sub, the Cats.
Yep.
Looks like Harry Taylor's done for the day. Christensen's kick smothered out of play.
He might be one of those players to give them a spark too, Christensen. He's a bit of a favourite down here as we see Harry in the rooms. Okay. Looks okay.
Yeah, no red vest.
Almost a smile on the face.
He's supposed to have the vest on down there. Goods, short. Turnover, Hunt. 30 seconds left.
Going to keep an eye on that bench. I can't quite see it from you boys, but it might be that Menzel's the man who's got the red vest on.
We'll check that out. Andrew Mackie. Adam Good stands in the hole. Goes up. Kelly. Down to 12 seconds. Christensen. Back to Kelly. They need a mark from this to Cats. If there would be a chance to the score, they don't get it. Ted Richards again. Dangerous kick, but it's okay. Half-time here at Skilled Stadium, and the natives are a little restless. Sydney by 10 points. They led at quarter time by 2. They led at half-time by 10. And the Cats, who've won the past 29 games here at Skilled Stadium, haven't lost here for over 4 years, have a hole to dig themselves out of. 7-5-47 to 5-7-37. Hanbury plays his 50th game next week. Nick Smith. They've got a few players who are not pups anymore. They're actually, Kevin Sheedy would say, apprenticeship over. Second half underway. And straight down to Geelong's sub. Alan Christensen can't break free. With the news that Harry Taylor, if you've just joined us, done for the day. Ottens, Mumford, Goods. Hasn't had a huge half so far. To O'Keefe to half forward. Rowan saw it knocked away from his grasp. Goods knocks it on. Jude Bolton to Goods. This will be the perfect start. Bends it. It's a floater. It's a behind.
He just couldn't break away than Adam Goods, but he was allowed to jump and basically be a free man at the contest. You just can't allow that with Adam Goods because he can push forward as shown there and get on the scoreboard.
Mackie. Out of side. Matner makes a contest, Ling the crumb. Chapman bumped on the kick. Shaw should get there first. Puts it up high in hope. And Kennedy marks. Even better, he outmarked Bartel. The tough man to outmark. Spanger the target. Dives and marks. Did he hold it long enough? He did.
He paid the mark. Well, this would be a fantastic start for Sydney if he can find a way to kick this one, Spanger. And he's looked lively since going to the forward line. Coming to Sydney this season, got to find a way to contribute and make himself a fixture in their best 22.
It's been a tight game from the outset, but this kick for the biggest lead of the game for either side. 17 points. Can't pull it back enough. It's a 12-point margin.
Well, form's a wonderful thing, and once you get it, you can generally hold on to it for quite some time. And Spanger last week probably had his best game for the club, and it's translated into his performance so far in this game.
Mackie to Podsiadly, gets up and over the top. Didn't hold it though. Jack toes it away. Crowd thought he held it long enough. They used to pay those here to Ablett. McGlynn can't get it up in time. Spanger saw it knocked away. Gary Rowan, he might banana it. He does, but he doesn't score with it.
He was exciting all round, but in the end it was Sydney that had another shot for goal. The big leap over the top. Oh, you've got to pay that.
Yeah, that's a mark.
He held it and then he worried about where he was going to land, which is why he let the ball go at the end.
Yeah, clean control of the ball is the rule. Burns. Steve Johnson. Podsiadly wants it and he can get and go. Martell tells him to hurry up. Get it to Hawkins. Can't mark it. Spins around, pumps it towards goal. Not a bad kick. Just over Selwood's head. Behind.
Just looked a little bit out of sorts, Tom Hawkins, hasn't he? He's had some opportunities, hasn't had much of it today, though. Just the 5 possessions, no goals. He's fumbled a couple of times at ground level. Got his hands to it there, should have taken the mark.
Kennedy again. It's been like that his whole career, though. Tom Hawkins, he has a good game and then a couple of bad ones. You don't know whether he's the right man for centre-half forward or full forward.
Well,
Crowd wanted a free to Lonergan, don't get it.
Cam Mooney's available next week, Dwayne.
Yep. Scarlett short.
Up.
Chapman.
That's the other thing they've done well today is they haven't allowed Scarlett to really set up anything from defence.
Puts it up high. Podsiadly again. Goes. Hawkins back at the pack. Could have proved everyone wrong. Gives it to Ling, who rolls it home. 5-point game.
Well, there's been a feature on Cameron Ling right throughout the broadcast, and we certainly spoke about his performance at half-time in this game, where he's been able to keep Josh Kennedy to 4 disposals at half-time. Kennedy's had a couple so far in this quarter, but now to get on the scoreboard, push forward, get to the contest, and then finish a nice goal. He's certainly leading from the front today, is Cameron Ling.
Mumford and Ottens resume hostilities. Goods takes off and takes it away. Floats a wobbler. Read the target. Can't mark. Lonergan got a hand on it. Hunt caught. Just gets it out to Mackie. Under some pressure. It'll be coming back. Almost the mark. Hanbury not paid it. Hops it back. Jude Bolton pushed. Gets a free. Maybe just too far out to score. That breeze blowing into his face. The grandstand, the Doug Wade stand does protect that breeze if you keep it low. 49-44. Swans have led for most of the game. Sits up in the breeze to the top of the square. Mumford can't chest mark it. Knocked away. Stokes out wide. Ted Richards, speaking of good form, outstanding form at the moment, Teddy.
Now that just wasn't a kick to the advantage of any of his teammates, though, Stokes. He wanted to kick it over the top for him to run onto, but Podsiadly had front position.
Off hands inside 50. Scarlett stole that from Jesse White to Watkins. Wants a handball option, and it rolls out of play.
Just go back to the last centre bounce, and we've highlighted a couple today with Mumford.
Well, you can't do that, Jono.
You can't do that. Of course you can't do that. So, something that maybe looked at by the umpires next week.
Well, they should be watching our broadcast and look at it right now.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you someone will get within a hint of the line next week and get pinged straight away.
Yeah, that's it. What have I started?
Chapman wins himself a free to Joel Selwood.
Tough kick.
Matner, fist in the way, straight through Rowan, picked up by Jack. Strong core, slips a tackle, kicks to full forward. Jesse almost off some hands. Parker can't bend it enough, and he doesn't score.
Well, that was a real risky kick from Paul Chapman, and almost a sign of frustration, going for something desperate, kicking to a 50-50 contest at best in the middle of the ground. And as soon as the ball hit the deck, Sydney had the numbers. Lucky they didn't get punished there, the Cats.
Kelly out of side. Mumford front spot. So a couple of short pass options. Ignores them. Spanger wants a jump. Scarlett does from 4 deep. Jesse White. Handball too slick for O'Keefe. Knocked down by Wachinski. Wanted Kelly. Almost Varco. O'Keefe. Out of play. Talked about this game not only important for form for Geelong, with Collingwood next week. These two could even meet in the finals. They could meet in the second week. They could even meet in the third week. Sydney win their way through from the bottom half of the draw. This would be a huge victory. And Goods sprints onto it, gets it onto the boot, and just hits the post.
He tried to get himself at an angle that would allow him to hook it around. Nearly did it. Nearly a bit of genius there from Adam Goods.
He will be playing his 300th game in the finals, Adam Goods, if they do win their first final. What a superstar he's been. Short in from fullback, Scarlett. Enright, Hunt, Scarlett. The old firm working together. Cameron Ling down the middle. It opens up for them. Stokes wants it short and he gets it. He hasn't got anyone long. Has to wait. Pops it up for the mercurial Stevie J. Rowan got there first. Steve Johnson waited for that to bounce back to him.
Yeah, well, Steve Johnson also knew that he couldn't outrun Gary Rowan in a foot race.
Burns over the top. Yeah, that was nice. Hawkins now for the jump. Uses his body. Off hands, Grundy. Did nicely. O'Keefe. And now Hanbury. He's got Goods if he wants him. Doesn't realise it. Heads wide. Spanger. Boundary line. Little slip from Mackie. Spanger, can he keep it in? He does. Runs into Scarlett. And then runs into Mackie. Gone.
Shannon Burns just getting up over the top. Good to see a little bloke fly over a taller opponent. Biggest issue for the Cats has been the use of their footy going forward.
Clarko. Keeps it low.
Yeah, there's another one.
Ottens. The chaos ball might work for them. Burns. Bang. Smith short. McGlynn. Matner. Mumford. He's got 3 to beat here, the big mummy. Scarlett fluffs it. Mumford tries to run onto it. Towed away by Jude Bolton. And now they're back in. Parker gets there. Handball smothered. Bartell gets it up to Kelly. Caught. Handball not good. Jude Bolton to Shepherd. Waited for a man to go in and get it. Goods still waiting out. Umpire will ball it up. Crowd want a ball. Intensity is lifted. Sydney by goal.
As it ever. And Sydney's defensive stuff's been sensational.
Yep.
Gary Rowan was terrific down there.
And they're looking fragile in defence, the Cats.
Christensen. Just got a
he
time.
dived on it.
Parker gets it out. This time Goods. Spins it around. Splendid.
Well, great goal sense from Adam Goods, because we will see on the replay, he doesn't even look at the goals when having this snap. And once again, just his work around the stoppages, goes to ground, pops himself up outside of the contest and stays involved there. And a great snap around the body by Adam Goods. He's had a couple of cracks at it this quarter and finally nails one.
Back out to a 12-point margin. Yes, another goal kicker comes off for the rotation. Sydney Swans are yet to use their sub. Craig Bird. Geelong already used its sub, Alan Christensen. Ling The takeaway to Podsiadly. Crunch. Took a couple down. Joel Selwood caught. Handball to Kelly. Works. Wants to come back. Burns. Top of the square. Otten's playing there. Bounce eludes a couple. Not the Pods. Yes. Just gets onto it. Back again. Hawkins feeds it off. Otten's. They're claiming they touched at the Swans. Otten says it's a goal.
There'll be a discussion. I don't think the boundary umpires are in a position to know whether that was touched or not. If the field umpire didn't hear it, I think he's got to go with the goal umpire's gut feel.
Well, isn't it the decision of the field umpire?
The field umpire further afield has signalled touch.
Okay.
That was the field umpire who was standing up at the top of the 50-metre arc, was tapping his hand saying it was touched. Always hard to tell on those replays.
Because the noise you hear might not be hand on ball, it could be hand on boot.
Yep.
There is not a spare seat in the house here at Skill Stadium. And in some ways, they're getting a contest they haven't seen for a long, long while. Off some hands. McGlynn can't trap it. Stokes does. Cameron Ling back to full forward. Otten's got a couple to beat. Knocks it down. Selwood, pocket. Traps it. Tried to turn Grundy inside out. Gave to Hawkins. Used some strength. Shrugged a couple. Adam Goods in the hole. Podsiadly almost. Hits the deck. Hanbury shuffles it out. Ty Connelly. Jude Bolton. And Varco doesn't mark it. Lonergan caught. Menzel. Wachinski. Couple of fumbles now from the Cats. Ty Connelly rolls it towards the wing. A race on. Spanger needs to make it his. He gets there first. And that's a win for Sydney.
Oh, Matty Scarlett nearly put him through the fence. I reckon he's getting a bit frustrated. As are most of the Cats. They're not handling the ball as cleanly as they normally do, not finding the right options going forward. And Sydney, they can sense an upset here.
Jude Bolton again. They've got some confidence. O'Keefe, he knows he hasn't got any long to go to. Spanger was the short, and he gets a free for a push. Oh boy, the crowd into this. From 50. Breeze into him a little. Not a lot in that.
Nope.
Probably nothing in that, actually.
They're getting a good run, the Swans, but you make your own luck in this game. And they've deserved every bit of it, Sydney.
For a 17-point margin for the biggest lead of the game. Top of the square. Mumford. Almost. Rowan. Traps it. He gets through some traffic. Kick off the side. And it rolls out of play.
They're under serious pressure, Jono.
They sure are. Sydney's getting numbers. Once the ball hits the deck, that's where Sydney just been cleaner and getting more numbers around the contest.
The Geelong chant rings around Skilled Stadium, but it's a light chant. Mumford thrown out of that ruck contest, no free. Kennedy dragged down, gang tackle. Ball up. You haven't been with us from the outset. Swans led by 2 points at quarter time, 10 points at half time. Right now it's 11 points their lead. Kelly backtracks, caught. Mackie caught. Kennedy caught. 25 players around this ball. Quickly thrown in the air by the umpire. Mumford slick with the knockdown. Jude Bolton trying to run and catch it on the run. Bartel dragged down by one hand. Corey Enright having a rest. Do have a few to come back next week. Milburn, Corey, Cam Mooney. Golden opportunity for a few of these Cats playing for their footy life right now.
Gee, they've
to have an impact.
Haven't they locked it in the forward 50 here, Sydney?
Well, Chase, just to back your point up, it's 6-0. The tackles inside 50 for the quarter.
Yeah. They've just locked it in. So many numbers around the ball. Bring it straight down, making a scrap of it.
McGlynn, who's had an outstanding day at the office, and it's getting better. Biggest lead of the game. Sydney by 17.
Well, their last 2 goals come from stoppages, and it's on the back of Pickers saying that their tackle pressure in there has been outstanding. 7-0 now in this quarter. But it's Mumford getting the ball down to advantage to his teammates again, and then able to create a little bit of space for themselves at the back of the contest and get another snap on goal. And accuracy today has certainly been fantastic for the Swans.
Critical battle.
Yep.
Selwood v McGlynn. Jason's been talking about it all game.
16 possessions to Selwood, and now it's McGlynn with 14 and a goal.
White in the ruck, giving Mumford a rest. McGlynn, where Angels fear to tread again. Sat on, no free. By Matthew Nichols with the ball up. Trent West getting some work done. They're a man down if you've just joined us. Harry Taylor done for the day. Flick down. McGlynn almost had it. Johnson plays for the freeze. Got it for too high. Hasn't had a huge day yet, Steve Johnson. 8 possessions, no goals. Held up here. Podsiadly. Early jump, Grundy, and into the back of the Pods.
That's a brain fade. That was just a senseless, illogical way to approach that contest. Just to jump into him, put a hand on his back. He turned away from the footy in mid-air. He was never going to get it.
I think the Pod just sat on him a sec, just propped on him.
What's disappointing about it is the way Sydney had worked back so well to create numbers, to create that high kick in from Steve Johnson. And then just to let themselves down with an act like that, it's too easy.
But they've done such a good job, Sydney's defence.
Deep breath tells you the story. Huge kick. Hasn't kicked one yet today. Still hasn't. Shaw to himself, long to the wing. Spanger's going to have to go. Selwood got there first. Spanger knocked it away. Hanbury arms free. Jude Bolton. Turnover. Stokes. Enright. Swans have an extra man or two behind the ball. Smith. Tyconelli told him to go, and he went. Richards on the outer side. Has Jack if he plays on quickly. Realises it now. Doesn't go.
Good play on.
Hanbury. Young players having a huge impact for the Swans.
The longer the game's gone, the more they've grown in confidence, the Swans, and they're actually controlling the flow of the footy at the moment.
Smith. Jude Bolton. Enright. Selwood. Some space to move. Ottens. And he sets it up. Richards front spot. Can't mark it. Stokes tried to dive into that tackle. No prior opportunity. Ball up.
Well, again, it's the final kick inside 50. That kick's gone long to Stokes against Ted Richards. High in the air with Richards in front position. You just struggle to see the system in their kicks going inside 50, the Cats.
Bartel gets it out to Ling, to Wachinski, threads his way through. Chapman, Steve Johnson, a dance step on Smith. Oh, he wrapped him up. Turnover, would have been ball. Play on advantage. Reed over the top. Hanbury runs the wing. No longs to go to, only the short to Goods. Clever. And he waits for the cavalry to arrive. We're about to tick into time on third term. 16-point lead to Sydney. Jack. Goods. Just beyond his range. A wobbler, tough one to mark. Over the head of Parker, past Reed. West, and the ball in. Swans will like that. Goals from clearances, it's been a key.
He's done a good quarter at Adam Goods. Obviously hit that goal. He's had 7 touches, 18 for the game.
Climb down Mumford from behind. Mackie. Kennelly takes it out. Cats win 30 metres. Cats have not led since the opening term. Sydney stole the lead from them in the shadows of quarter time. Has not conceded it since then. Parker, kick smothered. Ling was on hands and knees. Parker slips his way through a couple with arms free. Ty Kennelly. Goods Manhandled, no free goods, pounces on it again, spins it around, rolls it towards goal and misses. 17 points. He's having an impact.
Yep. And dare I say it, at the moment, it just appears that Sydney are harder at the footy, more desperate at the contest.
I'll tell you what's also really noticeable, Jason, is that their younger players have got big bodies.
Yeah.
So they're not getting pushed around by the Geelong bigger bodies.
Bartel went hard, couldn't collect it. Meredith does, but they collect him, throw it away.
Yeah.
Free kick Cats.
Got to watch the way they move the ball forward because they're not getting any lead-up targets.
Enright to Ling. Everything they do is under pressure. Bounces it past Burns. Kennelly. Poor handball. Shaw mops up his mess. Tries the 1-2 with Hanbury. That didn't work. Cats a chance. They've got an extra man around the ball. And a call for deliberate and don't get it.
You can nearly count on one hand the number of times Geelong have gone forward and had a lead-up option, whether it's Podsiadly or Hawkins. West, when he played forward, Stevie Johnson playing forward. They're just not getting that. No one's leading up at the person with the ball.
Ottens almost takes it out of the air. O'Keefe to half forward. White came hard. Ball spills. Parker gets up with it. Nice to get it out to Gary Rowan. He couldn't run onto it.
Tell you what, if they do, he'll kick a goal, Gary Rowan, because he was standing goal side of that contest.
Oh, bang. He caught the hip and shoulder. Close to the line. Christensen wants a free for holding the ball. Crowd got a free for holding the ball.
It was a valid argument because there were two City players over the ball and he just stood on top, but unfortunately for him, the ball went over the boundary line before the umpire could pay it.
Ottens and Bumford. Splendid battle that's been. Kennedy slips through. The sea's parted for him. Heads to half forward. Adam Goods on the run. Forced to prop. Back onto it. Scarlett. Selwood. Crowd starting to roar. Selwood takes on Jesse White. Wins to Ling. 1-2 on offer. Back to Selwood. Christensen. Podsiadly short. He goes longer. Goal square. Grundy. Hawkins. Not quite. Ball just rolls on the line. Stevie Johnson keeps it in somehow. Bartel. He was crashed and got one too high. He felt the contact and went down. Too smart.
You're right, Dwayne. See that unfold. He just went at the legs a little bit. Knew that the tackle was going to come. Gets 50, so this is a guaranteed goal now for the Cats.
24 minutes gone, third term, 11-point game.
Well, much needed for the Cats and great desperation on the boundary line by Steve Johnson to keep that ball alive, get it back alive and get it back into a dangerous part of the ground. And Bartel, Matner just needed to go a little bit lower there. High tackle, 50 metres and a goal. But the last time the Cats actually trailed at this ground was in three-quarter time, round 2, 2009 versus Richmond. They went on to win that game, but it's been a while since they've been in that position.
Big crowd. Nobody hoping that the excitement they felt in the curtain raiser when Geelong's VFL team came from 6 goals down to win a thriller on the siren will eventuate here as well. Kelly. 60-metre bomb. Off the fist of Ted Richards. Grundy caught, had Pryor, off hands, Menzel!
Well, a quick couple of goals, just what the Cats needed. That'll get the crowd fired up, get the players back in the game believing that it's theirs to win. Because for much of this game, it's really been Sydney controlling it after the initial onslaught from the Cats where they didn't convert. But now all of a sudden just pumping the ball quickly from a centre clearance. James Kelly getting the ball forward again. It's really making goals out of nothing. Not a lot of system there, but they'll take it.
Five points the margin. Inside 4 minutes to three-quarter time.
Parko's gone back now for the Cats. Obviously looking for a little bit of run through that defensive end.
Mumford. Difficult ball to grab. Parker dives, almost half volleyed it. Caught, dispossessed. And he wins a free. On 50. This will be a tough kick. Into the team this week, Luke Parker. 10th game
Sure
in his
is,
first season. He hands it off to Shaw, who loads up from 52. It's plenty on it. And Otten's marks.
Oh, he didn't pay it.
Surely that's a free from the back, isn't it, Maruppa?
Yeah. They're not paying the initial grab marks, are they?
Back pocket. Dangerous kick. Sits it. Reed makes a contest on Hunt. Not the right option from Brad Ottens. 26.5 minutes gone, third term. Cats have not led since the opening term. They're down by 5 points.
Oh, boy.
Free kick out of the ruck.
That's
Mumfords.
Ottens just grabbed him in the headlock and threw him out of the way. Just prior to that, Mumford ran in and hip and shouldered Ottens and really made a physical statement against him, and I think Ottens was reacting to that. He just puts an arm over the top of him. You see the left arm go around. Dangerous free kicks to give away.
Hasn't kicked one yet. Shane Mumford. Back to his old home ground. Boos from his old fans. From 30. He squeezed it in. They lead by 11.
Well, a good reply, Jace, from Sydney. Because Geelong certainly built a bit of pressure, hitting 2 goals in a row, and to respond, getting the ball down in their forward end again. Reed was the one. His ability to get the ball out of play on Josh Hunt created this stoppage, and Mumford wins a free kick and was able to go back and put it straight over the goal umpire's head with a good finish.
This would be a massive shock to Geelong's system. On their past 5 games this year, Geelong are a little shaky against the Crows. They've got Collingwood next week as their last game before the finals. Bounce, Mumford slips. Otten's the palm. Kelly. Caught by Kennedy. Free. Looks hurt, Kennedy.
He got thrown out of the contest, didn't he? He hit the ground very heavily.
He's not getting up in a hurry. Yet to use their sub, the Sydney Swans. Craig Bird still fresh on the bench. Important couple of minutes coming up here, and Kennedy wins the clearance after all that. Jude Bolton can't trap it at half forward. Enright, another fumble.
Yep.
Christensen overruns it. Enright mops up his mess. Steve Johnson. James Kelly. There's another fumble. Tucked up against the line, and it is on.
Play.
McLean and Selwood, is it?
No,
Shaw and Selwood. Oh, he's down again, Shaw.
Oh, it's getting willing. Game on the line.
Mumford slaps it down. The umpires just tell them to get on with it. O'Keefe runs away from Selwood. High floater. Goods from 5 deep. Crashes the pack. Hunt bounces it to Kelly. Throws it up to Ottens. Gang tackled. Hands it over his head. O'Keefe tracked it. McGlynn keeps it in. Spanger bangs to half forward. Enright tracks it. It rolls away from him initially. Scarlett might give it to him. Just rolls a handball over the top. Varco. We're down to 1 minute and 10, and Varco fumbles. It's an amazing game we're seeing from the Cats at home today. Stokes, Enright. The runner is Chapman.
This target.
He gathers. Still time for a Cats late score. Podsy Adley. He wants 50. Ran into Goods with a head. Crowd wanted it. Chapman. They're in full voice, the crowd. Bartel. Crutch. Off hands. Christensen can go for home. Goes to Stevie J. One grab. Not the second. No free. Kicks it goal. He misses. And he's not on. McGlynn marks safely.
Great front square by Christensen.
Seconds continue to tick. Big kick this from McGlynn. It's an outside 50 to Spanger. Mackie needs to hit a target. 10 seconds left. 2 wide. This is not the Cats we know. Out on the full. And McGlynn says I might bang it long. Inside 10 seconds. White can't mark. Ling from his own player, Kelly. White takes control, gives to Jude. Won't be time enough for a Sydney score. Cameron Ling in the hands of trainers. It's not going to plan for the Cats. They're already a man down. Harry Taylor's done for the day. Cameron Ling in a spot of bother from his own man, James Kelly. And this run of 29 home wins in a row is in danger. Sydney by 11 points at three-quarter time at the Cattery. 10-9, 69, 8-10, 58. Earlier, Harry Taylor subbed out for Christensen for the Cats.
And Chris Scott starting his work from the boundary line in this quarter.
Final term underway. Adam Goods on cue, thumps it long. White comes hard. Spanger back at the pack. 17 points to margin.
Well, you couldn't have imagined it. 15 seconds. Another centre clearance. A loose ball and Spanger runs into an open goal. That's just silenced the crowd. They were getting themselves up to try and get their team going again. 15 seconds into the last quarter. Bang, a goal. Massive task now for the Cats to find something against a team, Sydney, is playing for a final spot and gives no impression of letting up.
Trying to stay in the team, Matthew Spanger. Crucial goal that could be. Swans win this game, they're in the finals. Simple as that. You can start thinking about a home final with a win next week at home at the SCG against the Lions. A ton of time left in this, though. Mumford, crushing tackle on Chapman.
It's the wrong person to run into. I mean, Chappie's aggressive. He'll run through most packs. Not when you run into Shane Mumford front on.
Well, it was the first 10 minutes of the last quarter last week for Sydney, where they got on top, and they're looking that way again.
He's troubling Ottens now. He's really troubling Ottens at the ball ups, body on body.
He's one of the few players that can physically match Ottens.
Puts it up. Enright and Parker front spot. Knocked down Hunt. Not sure where to go. Torpedo wobbles it to the outer side. Mattner tracks it. Bang! Hawkins wanted him. Took the ball and Mattner at the same time. Wachinski through some traffic nicely. Cameron Ling. Crowd's eyes light up. Stephen Johnson's got it. Podsiadly's inside 50. Wants it to the square. Hands it back to Ling. Can the captain kick one from 40? There's a nerve settler.
Well, how smart was that by Stevie Johnson? Cameron Ling got the ball on centre wing and used it very well to Steve Johnson, but he knew exactly where Cameron Ling was running. Came back as if he was going to kick the ball back in towards the corridor. Knew Cameron Ling was floating down on his left side and was able to release an easy handball. Cameron Ling had 20 metres around him steadied. You see there, knew exactly where Cameron Ling was. Look at that. Great handball, good finish.
Two goals from the lead. The captain said his body's never felt better pre-game. Goods. Ling in there again. Shove it out to Mumford. Difficult grab a ball. Half forward. Wachinski. Dragged down. Bosler with the ball up.
That last 4-0 forward for Geelong, that's one of the first times they've had a good lead-up target. Steve Johnson coming out of the 50 to take the pass from Ling and then set things up. They need more of that.
Chapman dumped by Mattner. O'Keefe. Double tackle. Led at every change, the Swans. 2 points quarter time, 10 points half time, 11 points three-quarter time. And it's 11 points right now, their lead, 4 minutes in, final term. Wobbly ball up, thump down. Wachinski got his arms free. Handball out. Ling lurking again. Goods right with him. And he sprints away. Caught by Burns. That's ball. Gotta be ball. Crowd wanted it. Don't get it. Bird rolls it towards the pocket. Enright gets there first, slips it out.
You wouldn't think you could hand pass to yourself when you're being held. Jumper's held, he handballs it to himself, doesn't catch it, so that's why it's not a free kick. In the end, a good decision.
Knocked down, Chapman, slung down. Hunt bumped, Goods, geez, having an impact. Parker, pocket, picks it and kicks it just over Spanger's head. Reed, not content to take it out just yet. 4 seconds tick by. 2 goals from the lead, the Cats. Not lost here for exactly 4 years.
Got to end sometime, Dwayne.
You're probably right. Kennedy caught, dragged down. Swans have not won here for over 12 years. Go on, say it again, Jim.
They've got to win here sometime, Dwayne.
You're spot on. Ottens.
What they can't do is concede a goal here, the Cats.
Goods overruns it. O'Keefe trapped in there.
Tell you what they have done is what they've owned Geelong at the stoppages today, Sydney. It's 41-25.
Yep. And they've managed to lock it up. Once they get inside their attacking, they just keep it there with numbers. They bring the ball down. They don't let it release from the contest.
O'Keefe threads his way through. Just gets it away. Hunt. Right spot, right time. Long bomb. Hawkins needs to start gathering a couple of possessions. Nicely through Grundy. Kick not so good. Misses the target. Alex Johnson.
Now they've got problems. They've got real problems here.
O'Keefe, long.
Got McGlynn on.
Jack looks up. McGlynn, he's had an outstanding day so far. Hands it over the top to Parker. Sidesteps, goal! 17 points again. Equal biggest lead of the game.
Tommy Hawkins looked like he'd done really well in the middle of the ground. He's trying to create something. He stepped around an opponent, but when you miss the target and if you turn it over in a dangerous part of the ground like that, you get hurt on the rebound. Sydney's spread once they won possession was terrific. They just took off. They had a couple running forward, Jack and McGlynn, and then in the end, the Geelong defender had to run out to put pressure on McGlynn. He hand passes over the top and Parker kicks the goal.
Parker's got better as this game has gone on. You see there are a couple of score assists to go with his goal. He's had a couple of good tackles, some nice smothers out there today as well, so his 1%ers have been right up.
West thrown to the ruck, doesn't get anywhere near that. The umpire doesn't recall it. West rolls the ball to half forward. Menzel. Burns, Ling again. Stokes, Menzel from 50. And that's not coming back anywhere near enough.
Yeah, and James Podsiadly gives him a look because on that occasion he actually led straight at him. Just needed the little chip pass out in front, could have had a settled set shot. Menzel decided to try and kick it from 50 off one step. Real tough ask.
Lost just 2 games for the year, the Cats. In danger of losing a third. No one can mark. Rowan. Handball away. It was legal according to the umpire. Reed. That's wide. Into the stands. Jimmy Bartella's ball. Ton of time left in this. Enright. Hoping for Hawkins. Stokes. Hands and knees. Burns. Sharpshooter. Richards on the line.
Touched it.
Amazing.
They just keep doing what needs to be done, Sydney.
Shaw takes off from fullback. Heads to the outer side. Parker might jump. Does. Makes a contest. Ball hits the deck. Parker again. Still over it. Matner. Ridden a little. Ball up. 15 points the margin. Like getting a blood from a stone here at Skills Stadium. 4 points for the Sydney Swans. It's on offer right now. West knocks it down. Selwyn can't pull a high free kick. Burns. The ball up in bright sunshine. 4 years of partying Wins at School Stadium could be about to come to an end. West dives back in. Can't get it up to Selwood. Burns does. Hamill misses the target. McGlynn, little fumble, but it's okay. Fresh man Bird subbed on. Heads wide. Jude Bolton takes it out. 10 minutes.
Sydney just trying to create man-on-man all over the ground, just to keep the ball in tight, keep it contest every single time.
Jesse hacks a kick forward. Bartel stands under it. Good grab. Scarlett, here they go. Trademark Cats, they start to peel. Menzel on the run. Good mark in front of the eyes. Wojcinski takes off, parts the seas. Hawkins, there's the fumble though. Happens so often. Gets a kick. Christensen, 50 from goal. Pokes it to the lead. Stokes can't half volley it. Tackle laid. Ball up.
Just the fumble at a critical time, or the missed hand pass has cost them dearly today, Geelong.
First bit of pressure perhaps for Chris Scott. Free kick, Cats ball. Stevie J.
They're the ones Sydney do not want to give away. They've worked so hard, you don't want to give easy shots for goal. This guy doesn't miss too often.
Such a lean day though. I wonder what's going through his mind. 13 possessions and goalless. Is he unsure of himself? Never. And that'll help them get the mojo back.
Probably wondering what was going through Reece Shaw's mind then as well. He just put out the hand and applied a little coat hanger to Stevie Johnson as he was running past. You can't just reach out and grab a bloke around the neck like that. Extraordinary stuff. They've done so well in defence. They've stopped all of Geelong's forwards from looking like being damaging threats. They don't want to give it away with a couple of silly free kicks like that.
It's almost an even money bet right now. Big home crowd on Geelong's side. They're 9 points down.
Adam Goods has just shifted himself forward again.
White and West. West palms it down, but he missed the target. O'Keefe rode the bump. Bangs it to half forward. Lonergan, Goods, keeps it alive. Bartel, Scarlett, trying to set it up. Back to Bartel. Goods knocks it out.
Matty Scarlett handballed that back to Jimmy Bartel when he was leaning on the fence. And he just waited it to allow Bartel to get back in field to get the ball. He did not want to go the other way across the face of goal.
Back into play. Knocked down past a couple. Lonergan can't trap it. Jack, fantastic tackle. Varco. Play on. Shaw jumps, got a hand on it. Big clearance to win here. And it'll be Rowan to win it. Gets the kick.
Brilliant.
Reed!
Gary Rowan. Fantastic effort. The Cats were about to break away. They had numbers. They just needed one little slick hand pass to clear it. It was Stevie Johnson tried to fire it out and he smothered it, then grabbed the ball and kicked it forward. And this could go, look at that. He just anticipated what was going to happen. They had three numbers around the ball ready to take it away. Huge kick.
It's a full house officially. 25,900 here watching this slide through. And they can watch and weep.
Throughout the course of the match, their goals have come a lot easier than Geelong's. They've just looked to have a more open forward line, more positive entries going in. That's just terrific desperation from Gary Rowan, they've been cameo appearances from him today, but very impactful. They've kicked a couple of goals. He's managed to set one up there and just done some fantastic things. It'll be very tough for the Cats now.
Been goal for goal the last quarter and a half. Every time the Swans look like breaking this open past the 3-goal lead, the Cats hit back from the ball up. Time ticking away though for the Cats. Kelly comes up with it. Handball to Stokes. He can go. Free kick behind play. Is it 50? Or is it just coming back? It's coming back to McGlynn.
Oh boy. No idea what that was for.
It really has to be 50 because the whistle got blown again and he still kicked it.
Short to Mumford. And they are controlling the game now, the Swans. Jude Bolton, Hunt right there. Jude got hands on it. Hunt just knocked it and then tackles. Spanger with a toe. Close to the boundary. Mackie takes him across. Still plenty of time. 3 goals they need. 15 points the margin. Here it is. Okay, dumped after the handball, perhaps.
Didn't look to be that much in it, though.
Haven't had the run of luck today, the Cats. They normally have at home. Christensen, bang, gone.
Throw. I thought it was high contact there.
Kelly played on, thought it was a Cats ball. And now Ponziadley's involved. It's coming back. It's a Swans ball, but all eyes on the blue. Cats want to win this. Swans need to win it. Cats want to win it. To the pocket. Cats with the numbers. Otten stands and paid the mark. A couple of those earlier not paid, and that's why there's some boos. To the open side. Bartel can get and go. Kennedy wants to shut him down. Bartel, Enright, and he pumps it. Ponziadley is playing like Tarzan. His jumper's half ripped off.
Off the shoulder.
Still comes towards him. Shaw gets there first. Heads wide to Jack. Christensen holds him up.
Got all the answers, Sydney.
Parker. Magna. 15 points, 12 minutes. Plenty of time for 3 goals. Matner spears it. Bird.
Gee, Shane Mumford's been a big part of what's happened today. He's been sensational. I think he's got on top of Brad Ottens as the game's gone on. We heard Pickers tell us the numbers before about the clearances. They're now 47-28 in favour of Sydney.
Gee, gives that some air. Rowan flies front of the pack. Can't bring it down. Machinsky caught. Didn't really get a possession away. Jack, quick, back to Rowan. Wants to take them on. Just gets a kick as he's tackled. Ling protected the drop zone of the ball, then gathers. Looks up, Scarlett. Dangerous kick. It's high and Bartel flies. Can't take the mark. Jude Bolton, he attacked it. Knocks it down. Mumford gives it up. Rowan to the square. White can't chest mark it. Parker! Biggest lead of the game. They lead by 21.
Well, Parker again's kicked a couple. Now he's had a few score assists along the way. Looks like he may be holding his hand after kicking this goal. But once again, Rowan involved, Mumford in amongst it. And a nice little finish. Knew exactly where the pressure was coming from. Parker was able to turn on his left foot, protect the ball, and kick a good goal.
Four goals in 10 minutes now for the Cats to keep this unbeaten run alive. The Swans can smell finals. Chris Scott, Blake Carosella, Balm, Lappin, they're all in there, the Brains trust. They need a miracle now. Rowan tries to knock on. Wachinsky hammers it forward. Burns beaten for it by Kennelly. Smith, Richards, Johnson, and he misses O'Keefe. Selwood takes on the tackle. It was high, and that definitely was a free. Scott Otten's short, doesn't want it. Hawkins is the man. He goes and gets, and he might be within range. Crowd want him to go for it. He hits the top of the square. Menzel's down there. Almost impossible for him to mark. 4 Swans get back, and Smith.
On the full. I thought he towed that between his hands then.
All right, Jace.
25,900 on the edge of their seats at Skilled Stadium. They've seen win after win after win here in the last 4 years. Richards rolls it outside 50. Goods gets there first. Slick hands. Little pop past Bird. Spanger manhandled as he tried to mark it. Close to the boundary, and Christensen, who's never played in a loss here. Ponziadley, Christensen, Menzel, West have never lost a game here at Skilled Stadium.
Well, if that's going to continue, they're going to have to pull something out of the bag. Produce something amazing here, the Cats.
O'Keefe bangs it to half forward. Scarlett. White's got 2 to beat. And almost beats them with a fist. Does beat them. Gathers. Knocks it up. Scarlett again. Can use the line. And he keeps it in. Enright. Stokes. Mackie. Caught. And he dropped it. Got to be ball. Play on. Goods turned his back. It's coming towards him. He was called to go and get it. Mackie. Goods. Outside of the foot. Don't tell me. Not from there. Hunt makes it his. Boy. That was nearly on the money. 21 points. Menzel. We're about to tick into time on final term, and that's a tough one for Christensen. Takes off.
He's paid a high fend against him.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy.
This will upset a few in the crowd. Umpire Matthew Nichols. 25,900. Not happy with him. Jude Bolton.
Doesn't miss these, Jude Bolton.
There's 100 that are happy. That's it.
And the long run of wins could be over.
Well, we've seen plenty of them paid in recent seasons. The high fend off. You have to have a look at it. Christensen picks up the ball under the neck there. He's trying to push off. Touch and go, isn't it? They can go either way. He just used his strength to push him off, and Bolton didn't go down as if hit. He was trying to lay the tackle.
The whole world's against them right now, the Cats. Things not running their way. No luck here. High fend. Biggest margin of the game, 27 points. We've played 21 minutes final term. 8.5 to go. West, long. Otten's at full forward. Podsiadly down there. Kennelly with the fist.
Really haven't had a presence from any of their forwards. The Cats have that. No one's looked likely, whether it's been West or Podsiadly or Hawkins. Otten's now. Even Stevie Johnson, very, very quiet by his standards.
Mumford. Spectacular. Ling. Steve Johnson. That could be on the full. Boundary umpire says yes. Geelong ball. Stevie Johnson has kicked a few from here in his time. This would bring the house down.
Yeah, this would be the beginning of the miracle they need, Wayne.
He is the man for the money shot. She makes the angle even worse. Not bad. Behind. He ran around the boundary.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Ran around the gutter. It's almost as if the Cats have conceded it now. They'll finish top 3 regardless of this result, and regardless of whether they beat Collingwood next week or not. There's no difference between second and third on the ladder heading into the finals. Stokes, caught, dispossessed. Chapman, back, West, Stokes, Kelly. Enright. Difficult ball to grab inside 50. Johnson attacks it. Varkov hands. Hasn't kicked a goal for weeks. And gives them life.
Well, Jason, there's still plenty of time left in this game, and the Cats do have that ability to be able to kick multiple goals very, very quickly. Sydney's pressure was actually quite good again. A rush kick inside forward 50 by the Cats, but a great front and square by Varco, and was able to capitalise with a good snap around his body. And he's been able to provide a couple of little sparks today, maybe another one there to get him back in the contest.
Got nothing to lose right now, the Cats. 20 points the margin. Now look at the scoreboard. There's 23.5 minutes gone. 7.5 to come. I need 3 goals in 7.5 minutes. Been done before. McGlynn caught high. Takes a few seconds off the clock. Sure. It's been the Swans essentially since just before quarter time. They've led Since a couple of minutes before quarter time, held the lead. Goods holds the mark.
It's been total domination at the stoppages, hasn't it?
To the lead. White crashes the pack. McGlynn caught legally. No prior. Ball up. West, front spot, little flick down. Rowan, ball caught in the pack. And ironically, the last time they lost here, round 21, 2007, they were in this exact spot. 3 goals down, 6 minutes left against Port Adelaide, and they hit the lead with a minute to go, only to concede it in the dying seconds. They might back themselves in to have a crack at it. Menzel long. Selwood goes hard. Shaw right with him. Selwood rides the line. Brought down. Free. Not paid. He shakes his head. West, Mumford, Otten's third man up. Bird to Jack. Bounces it to the outer side. Scarlett can't keep it in. Down to 6.5 minutes. 52-30
the clearances, and they're numbers that you just don't see against the Cats. Exceptional job by Sydney.
Every face tells a story now. Mumford flicked down. Kennedy caught. Just got a handball away in time. Stokes kicks it up in hope. Ottens is there. Podsiadly there. Can't even get a jump at it. Burns caught by Hanbury. Got it up. Ottens, no prior opportunity. Dragged down. Ball up. Good spot for a ball up for the Cats, though. 3 goals in 6 minutes. That's the equation. Game alive again. Grundy.
Another clearance.
Selwood. Enright. Ball up.
It was a bit more definite early in the season, sides coming off the bye, but it just seems to have had an effect here with the Cats today, just with their touch in the contest.
Ball out to Jack. Ling runs him down. Hugs the line. Mackie, little toe to himself. Reed drags him down, didn't really have it late. No free again. Umpire calls play on. Varco gets there but leaves it behind. Bird handballs it in the Rowan direction. Scarlett got there first. Bumped. Gives it up. Wachinski. Chapman. Down to 5.5 minutes. Stokes almost run down.
Nice.
Just gets the kick. Hand up beautiful. Burns. Stevie Johnson. And he lets it slip. Hard to believe. Gets a handball away to himself. He's still got it. It's almost ball. He locks it in. Goods. Back to Goods again. Rowan. White. All the answers, the Swans.
So O'Keefe on his own.
Enright.
Good work by Enright.
Yeah, into the fist. Bounce. Kind for Varco. Still working hard, the Cats, but too many errors. Some kind of handball from Enright. Wachinski inboard. Burns. He needs a chest. Podsiadly goes hard. Knocks it to his own advantage. 50 from goal. Stevie Johnson on the run. Couldn't pick it. Bartell rolls toward goal. Johnson should track it out.
It's just a number of Geelong players that you see fumble the ball, unable to pick it up cleanly. As a group, they've had a really off day, but the pressure that Sydney's put on them has been intense. And they deserve this win that it looks like they're heading towards.
Well knocked down, Mumford. 1-2 with Matner. Heads wide and it's out on the full. The players will know there's not long left now. The security is starting to ring the ground. 20 points the margin. Hunt bangs it long. They need a leaper. Plenty go up. Christensen stays down. Tries the handball up. Shaw, Mumford, Goods. O'Keefe throws that away. Hanbury caught. Gets it up. Bolton, McGlynn, inside 4 minutes. Throws it on the boot. White. Enright beats him to it.
It's never a good sign when you're playing when you see the security start to go around the ground, boys, if you're behind.
Well, they've got the numbers at half forward. Hawkins needs to mark and can't. Johnson off some hands. Christensen couldn't grab it on the run. More seconds eaten up.
Kickers are spot on because mentally you were just about shot anyway. And seeing the security would just about ended for you.
McGlynn. Again, another clearance. Richards. Lonergan. And he falls. Reed. Caught by Lonergan. Ridden a little. No free. Hunt. Kelly. Scarlett. Ling. And now Enright on the open side at least. Time well and truly against them. 3 minutes left. Short pass. Stokes. Christensen. Chapman can't mark. Menzel can't trap. And there's got to be a high free to Selby.
Amazing how many of those he draws.
Another 5 today.
Seconds continue to run. Not bad off the boot. That was their last shot at keeping this game alive. 19 points. 99 to 80. The crowd is stunned. Shaw to the outer side. Reed. For the most part, you can still hear a pin drop at skill. With many patrons here that have never seen a loss. 4 years without one. O'Keefe attacks it. Hanbury caught by Ling. Didn't really try that hard to get rid of it. Matthew Nichols gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Actually seeing a few Cats fans leaving Dwayne.
Really?
Very unusual side.
Selwood attacks it. Mumford had a fantastic day. Chapman. Selwood again. Little flick down. Again, the Swans have the numbers and the answers. O'Keefe caught by Ling. Dragged down. Masters will pull it up.
Shane Mumford in a bit of trouble behind play. He's going to limp back to this contest. Just holding the right ankle.
The second week in a row as well. It's the leaders of the Swans that have stood up with good Shaw, O'Keefe, McGlynn and Mumford, and Bolton leading the way. Top 6 in possessions today. And effectiveness.
Chapman bangs it inside 50 in hope. They haven't had a target to grab a ball inside 50 all afternoon. Hawkins to Varco, 50 from goal, looks out wide, Stevie J from the pocket, centering kick to Ling, takes the mark with 1 minute and 15 essentially left. They don't call time off for him.
He's had a good game, Cameron Ling. This is for his 3rd goal.
Looks up at the scoreboard and sees that there's 32 minutes gone. Cut the margin back to 13 points with 1 minute left.
Well, they're going to run out of time, but I don't know if they're ever going to get past Sydney today, the way the Swans have played. This is one of their rare moments going forward where they found a loose target inside the attacking 50. It was a good kick from Steve Johnson. He had great vision, but their key forwards have failed to deliver today, the Cats.
John Longmire calling for some numbers behind the ball just in case. 13 points. Had it been 12, there might have been a chance for a draw maybe. Chris Scott knows it slipped away. A big win this for the Swans. An impressive performance heading into September. They've got the Brisbane Lions at the SCG next week. So finals confirmed for Sydney with this win today. Home final to be grabbed perhaps next week. Ottens with the flick down. Chapman to half forward. Goods. Clive put an exclamation mark on the victory. Alex Johnson. A lot of this game today has been played to silence. The crowd hasn't had a lot to enjoy. It's been a big moment for the Swans. They've had a massive week as Rowan plucks it. Jared McVeigh has to withdraw. Been a lot of talk about football being put into perspective this week for the Sydney Swans players. The passing of Jared McVeigh's baby daughter. And what a moment for the Sydney Swans, who haven't won here for 12 years. They end the drought. And one of the greatest home streaks in Australian sport is over. After 29 home wins in a row, the Cats go down by 13. 15-9-99 to 12-14-86. A win against the odds that puts the Swans into the finals in 2011.
And it's the sort of performance that justifies their inclusion in the finals and says that they're not just making up the numbers. Their ability to come here and shut down one of the best sides in the competition at their home turf, as you mentioned, where they've won 29 consecutive games. Amazing stuff.
There'll be tumbleweeds rolling down Moorabool Street tonight. The Cats go down at home for the first time in over 4 years. Sydney by 13.